Big Sills. Dual threat. Dual threat. One more time. Dual threat. Anthony Richardson out 4-8. Dual threat. You think they're going to be able to build that franchise around Anthony Richardson? Do you think you're going to build a future around Anthony Richardson in Indianapolis? Do you really? Do you really? How many years do you project Anthony Richardson plays at a high level in Indianapolis, being a dual threat? How many years? I know Jalen's a 15-year guy in your eyes. What do you think Anthony Richardson's ceiling is for how many years he'll play? 2 to 3? Oh, my God. 2 to 3? And he's a first-round pick? Holy cow. That guy's going to have a shorter reign than that Pope that got poisoned decades ago. Are you kidding? 2 to 3? Man. Hey, that's a quality pick. Holy cow. Dual threat. Holy cow, man. Yeah, I can't wait. I cannot wait. Holy cow. He's out 4-8. He's the first one to go down. Oh, wait. Murray's still out. We're still young on the season, though. Okay? We're still young. You can't build your franchise around a dual threat quarterback for an extended period of time. But today's NFL, 3 years is a long time. Okay? Nobody's building a team for 10 years. At max, you're building it for 5. No matter if that's Cincinnati or if it's Philadelphia. Honestly, nobody gives a shit about 10 years from now. They care more about 10 minutes from now than 10 years from now. Okay? So, again, hey, we're going to get into a little bit and a early look at the Jets here. But before we do that, we want to get going here with our Hooters giveaway. And we've been very proud of this, and we really appreciate everybody with our great friends at Hooters that we are able to give gift certificates out each and every single day. Well, actually qualified people each and every single day. And all you have to do is email us, and Tone's going to throw a code word out throughout the 4 hours of the program. And all you have to do is email us the information, and you will win an opportunity to get yourself a gift certificate. We do this all the time. And on Monday, a football Monday, we announce our winners like Mike and Don. And all you have to do is email us when Tone throws out that word. There's the email, dansileo@gmail. When the code word goes out throughout the 4 hours, all you have to do, okay? All you have to do is email us your info. We'll announce the winner on Monday. Good luck to you. By the way, another packed show. The segment with our friend, Tone. Kayla Santiago from our post-game show. He's going to join us at 4:30. I can't wait to talk to her, get her thoughts on the Philadelphia Eagles, what she sees going into this Jets game. We moved Seth Joyner to tomorrow. So Seth will be with us tomorrow at 2:30. We had a great time on his show last night. My aunt watched it. She loved it. She said, you and Seth are just absolutely great together, and I really enjoy going on the program with him. So that was fun last night. He's going to make a visit with us. That'll be tomorrow at 2:30. So we will talk once again with our friend Seth Joyner. That'll be all tomorrow, and we look forward to it, along with Chris Sims, also will join us on a Thursday as we get ready for Thursday night football. I want to throw this out at you one more time here, and I want to get this out there to you about how the NFL blackballs people. You know, and again, I'm not going back over the Colin Kaepernick story. I'm not going back over to try to litigate whether it's right or wrong that he was not given an opportunity. I don't want to do that. But look what the league does to players when they don't want you in the league. Hell, even Tim Tebow, they called him an overzealous religious fanatic. Did you ever, they tried to give him an opportunity because of what Urban Meyer did in Jacksonville. But nobody really wanted that guy on a football team. You're telling me he couldn't be a third-team guy with some of the bums we have in the NFL today? Shit, Ian Book had a job. Okay, so the NFL doesn't like noise. Look what they did to Jalen Carter. They labeled him an immature problem when he's not. He had a bad moment, a horrific moment. But look what the NFL did pre-draft. They labeled him. Look at how they label players. It's a stigma. That's not true to the kid. I do not believe that he is an immature kid. We're all immature at 20. You crazy? I'm barely mature now. He's a 20-year-old kid who made a mistake, a tragic mistake. But the NFL wants to label the guy a problem child. He lost millions of dollars because the NFL labeled him that. Put a stigma on him. Put a stigma on him. Not right. But that's what the league does. It's what the league does, man. This kid has been everything, in my opinion, that we sit here and we are just relishing watching him grow as an NFL player and also as a man. Intelligence, and I'll tell you something else. I got to give Howie credit for this, and I think we all should give Howie credit for this. He trusted the Georgia guys on the team to vouch for him, and Tracy Rocker. Howie went, okay. Okay. That's big. Howie Roseman trusts more people today than he's ever in his entire life. Because he's got a lot of decisions to make that rely on the success of that football team. He's not just a GM. He picks the coaches. He picks the players. Pretty much is involved in the type of schemes they run on both sides of the ball. And the reason for that is so he can be, get this, I don't think it's really that out of line in what he does by making sure that they have the same system on both sides of the ball. You know why? Don't you think, how about this one here? Over the last couple of years, do you not think that Howie has really hit on players in free agency, UDFAs? Because why? You're not constantly interchanging the schemes every 4 years or every 3 years when you lose a coordinator. You're playing one style of football so that you can go out and get the proper personnel to know exactly what you're looking for. I think what it does, it reduces failures in free agency. Am I right when I say that? And I think it also helps in your drafting. How many times, like here, let's do this here. It's a lot of involvement for your GM, but look at our government, okay? Look at the White House. Every 4 years, the political philosophy changes. It's so inconsistent, our government. Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican. We go from one side and we ping pong. If you had one stable set of rules, one stable government, one good government, you'd get more done. That's what he's doing with the Eagles here. When you have a style of defense and a style of offense, and you're plugging players in because you know what the identity of what you're looking for, it makes it just common sense that you're going to be able to pick and not have as many misses in free agency as you have in the past. I think it's actually a brilliant way to go about finding free agents. Look at Nicholas Morrow. Now, again, they had given up on him. They fired him. They cut him. Then they brought him back. Because this is what they've done. They haven't changed their philosophy. You got two brand new coordinators. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed except what? The players. That's Howie. That, to me, it alleviates higher probabilities of failures. Okay? I mean it, man. I think it gives him a better idea of what to look for. Yeah, that guy kind of reminds him. Like, look at the kid they just picked up and put him in the slot. Yeah, kind of fits the mold of what we're looking for here. Okay? He fits what we're looking for. I think it's pretty smart how they do it. Good stuff, man. Okay? Good stuff. All right. Let's move on to a early look at the Jets and the Eagles here. By the way, ton of stuff, man. Ton of stuff today. Absolutely loaded. All right. How many people are concerned about this Jets game on Sunday? When you look at the Jets, how concerned are you with this team? I'll say this to you. Jets are not as scary as they would have been if they had Aaron Rodgers. Okay? So they're not as scary as this game could have been. I'm concerned about every game. That's the mentality you should have. And you know what? I think I even wrote that down. You know what the Eagles do a really great job of that Dallas has not mastered? The Eagles do such a great job at beating teams they should beat. Okay? They do a fabulous job at beating teams they're supposed to beat. And I do think it's a week-to-week mentality that they have. That is a culture thing that Dallas has never had in 27 years. I'm going to give you guys a small story about one day when Jimmy Johnson had his team play Washington, and Washington wasn't very good, and they got beat. And it was right before they went into the playoff. You ready for this one? Tony Casillas told me this story. He said on the way home, the airplane was getting ready to serve food to the players. Jimmy said, no, we're not having any dinner. Players come up, start asking Kevin O'Neill, the trainer, hey, are we eating dinner? We're flying back to Dallas. We're not eating anything. You guys don't deserve a meal. You're not doing that on a plane with Jerry Jones. Jimmy Johnson didn't feed his team because they got beat by Washington in a meaningless game. We're not eating. We're not eating. Every game matters. Think about it like this. When's the last time you watched the Eagles play and questioned if they were prepared or not? I can't remember since I've covered them for 2.5 years now. They may be out-coached because of certain situations or talent-wise or something's new. But when it comes for those guys going out and wanting to be in a fist fight, I've never seen the Philadelphia Eagles not stand in a fight. I watched the Dallas Cowboys against the Arizona Cardinals not show up to the fight. Every single guy on that team could have been put on a milk carton or can be put on a billboard for missing persons. Every one of them. including the coaching. No soup for you. Thank you very much, Twiz. That's right, man. This team does a fabulous job at making sure that they beat the teams that they're supposed to beat. Barb, I cover everybody. You know what I mean? I cover the NFL, but we're based in Philly, as you know. Here's where I think the crux of this game is going to come down to as you're preparing. Today's Wednesday, right? So you get your game plan for the Jets today. And you probably, as Jason Kelsey and some of the guys were probably at the facility working out yesterday, started watching some film on the Jets front, what the Jets do defensively, vice versa, offensively and defensively. So you kind of maybe watched a couple minutes on your player's day off. You went in there when you're 5-0, you're going to go in there and do the extra steps that it takes because you're looking for a higher goal than just being 21-1. I know some of you are very excited about 21-1 and 5-0, but the Eagle players and the coaches have higher aspirations than that. Okay? That doesn't mean anything to those guys because the more you get into your season, the more you becoming a team that is putting a statement out there, the more it's going to be expected of each and every single player in that 53-man roster. So here's where I think some of this game will be. Will the Eagles secondary put 2 weeks in a row together and stop a awful Jets passing game? You haven't before. New England has a horrific passing game. Horrific. Jones is better than Zach Wilson. Okay, he is. Mac Jones is better than Zach Wilson. I'm not suggesting to you that Zach Wilson's going to light the sky up and all of a sudden he's going to. But your pass defense, let's see it 2 weeks in a row. I saw it for a half. In 5 games, you played a half of really good ball on that side of the ball with adjustments. The Jets' O-line is compatible with New England's O-line. And they were able to move the ball on you. Now, again, I think the Jets' passing game is terrible. Hey, Tone or someone, would somebody please tell me where the New England Patriot offense ranks in passing? Because it'd give me a little bit better of a context how much better they are than the Jets. I think the Jets, if I'm not mistaken, are 25th, somewhere down there in passing. They're not very good. So to me, what's going to happen in this game, you're going to see a lot of quick passes. That sets up perfectly for the Jets and awful for the Eagles. Are you going to play press coverage? Is that what you're going to do? You may have to. Are you going to allow those guys to play pitch and catch? Are you going to line 10 yards off the ball? Are you going to do that? New England is ranked 18th in passing yards per game. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the Jets are 25th. So kind of in the same room. They're 32nd. That's not kind of in the same room. When 25 and 18, I'll give you the benefit. 32, you're horrible. But your pass defense has been good for a half. I'm not saying you're not going to put 2 together here. And do I think the Jets can move the sticks on you? They got to tear. Now, they got some rushing yards last week against a team, the Broncos, who I think has already surrendered the white flag. 22 for 177 for Hall against the Broncos. But I think the Broncos are waving the flag. So, that could have been a U-Haul game for some of the Denver Bronco guys, either getting traded or at the end of the day, getting ready to go home as soon. Their season's over. Their season's over. And look, like I said, the Jets defense has been underwhelming this year. You know, I forget who it was. Was it Sauce Gardner or someone said that this was going to be a transcendent defense? You got all those faces and all that money on that side of the ball, and you're getting run over the way you're getting run over. You got to have some intestinal fortitude, man. You can't be run over the way you're being run over. And if I had any kind of say and I was a Jets coach, I'd be like, you better shut your face, man, and show up. I don't mind getting beat 10-9 because I did my job. But if you're getting run over and you're talking shit that you're going to be one of the greatest defenses of all time, you got a problem in New York. You're getting killed. And you know why you're getting killed? Because you're mentally beat. The Jets are mentally beat and fatigued right now. And you know what that means? Here's what you do to a team like the Jets. Kill them quick. Kill them quick. Don't let them hang around. They'll quit. They want to quit. They're 2-3. They're still hanging in there. You got a wounded animal. Kill them. Don't let them hang around. Don't do what you did for 4 games. Let teams hang with you. Kill them. Knock them out. You haven't been able to do that because your red zone offense blows. You're keeping teams like the Jets and the Patriots and the Vikings in games because you don't know how to finish people off. You allow teams to come back on you. It is a major fundamental flaw in that offense so far that has not been rectified. It has not been fixed in 2.5 years. They were okay with it last year. But in the 2.5 years, it's been spotty red zone. Dude, throw that ball up to him. You know what I'd rather have you do than run the ball in the red zone and goal line? I'd rather have you have a jump ball situation with A.J. Brown. I think he comes down with that. You're one of the worst teams in the league from the 10-yard line in when it comes to scoring TDs. Throw that ball up to that guy. So what? You get a turnover. So what? Comes out to the 20. You're playing good defense. Take some shots. Kicking field goals is not going to win you a Super Bowl. Jason Kelce and everyone at the NovaCare Center knows that. This is not about any longer winning 12 or 13 games. That's an irrelevant conversation. The Eagles and the 49ers are the 2 best teams. And then get this, it's really everybody else. And I'm even saying maybe the AFC. Do I think Kansas City is as good as the Eagles and the 49ers? No. Do I think Buffalo is as good as the 49ers or the Eagles? No. No, I don't. Today, right now, those are the 2 best teams in the league. Okay? But to win the Super Bowl, here's what happens when you kick. If you start kicking field goals against Mahomes, he comes back and beats you. He will beat you. Okay? He will beat you. Because you know why? Field goals and 3-and-outs allow teams back in ball games. Okay? You know, at the beginning of the year, we were looking at all the fancy gadget quarterbacks, weren't we? And they were all on the AFC side. Correct? Look at the 2 guys that are leading the best teams in the NFL. Sure, Hurts got his money. Not one of those guys are first rounders. One guy's a 7th rounder. One guy's a 2nd rounder. And they got the 2 best teams in the league. And we're taken by the shiny objects. The Mahomeses, the Allens, the Herberts. You see how the perception is? of Purdy and Hurts? I'll make a point to you about that here in a minute. We were all looking at all the shiny objects over there. Look at all those great quarterbacks the AFC has. Trevor Lawrence and this and that. Turns out, as we go into week 6, we're Joe Burrow, right? We're going into week 6 and we're going, are the Eagles and the 49ers that much further ahead than everyone else? Dallas looks like they're like almost in the rearview mirror. By the way, them getting Austin Eckler back, I don't believe they're beating the Chargers. I don't believe they're beating the Chargers. Not at all. That defense has been underwhelming. The Eagle run defense has been absolutely spectacular. And if they can't get any running game going, again, you could put this team to sleep early. This is how I see this thing here. I think this could be a U-Haul game for the Jets. Because you'll be 2-4. You're completely out of it. And you start thinking about next year and what you're going to do. And you're waiting for Rodgers. Because to me, however, you ready for this? I think it's 26-16. Until the Eagles show me that they're good in the red zone and could put teams to sleep, you're always going to have teams hanging around you. Everyone hangs around you. Everyone. These haven't been very good teams you've been playing, and they've been hanging around you. You've been beating them, but you're not beating anybody up. You're not beating anybody up. I think it's 26-16, something in that kind of room. Until you can run teams over and show us that you could be consistent in the red zone, championship football teams are great in the red zone. They're not shitty like the Eagles. They're not. I think they'll be right there. Okay? The Bucks and the Rams, JM, congratulations. Hell of a victory. Touting yourself over beating the Bucks and the Rams. Really solid teams. Okay? I guess. I want to show you something, what I just said here. You know, yesterday I gave you my top 10 quarterbacks. And before we move on, okay, to a even more Jalen Hurts topic here, it's not a rip. I think it's something that they need to do. Here was my list for the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL going into week 6. I had Trevor Lawrence 10, Geno 9, Justin Herbert 8, Lamar Jackson 7, Josh Allen 6, Hurts 5. Remember that. Goff 4, Mahomes 3, Tua 2, and Purdy 1. Here's who CBS today put out as their top 10 guys heading into week 6. CJ Stroud over Trevor Lawrence, my 10? Probably. They had Cousins. At 9, I had Geno because Geno is winning. They have Lamar Jackson at 8. I have Justin Herbert at 8. Remember those two. CBS had Goff 7. I had Lamar Jackson 7. CBS has, get this, Jalen Hurts 6. I got Josh Allen 6. 5, they have Justin Herbert 5. I have Justin Herbert 8. And I got Jalen Hurts ranked higher than the national people do. So don't tell me I'm picking on Hurts. I got Hurts higher ranked than the majority of the people at ESPN, CBS, and anywhere in the country. I'm being fair to the kid. They got Brock Purdy 4. Brock Purdy's playing the best football of anybody, but the perception that I just talked about, him being Mr. Irrelevant, blinds him. Nobody's playing better quarterback than him. Nobody. You know it, and I know it. They won't let their eyes tell the truth. I got golf 4. Jared Goff's playing great ball. They don't want to believe it, though, because they ripped him. This is why when you guys tell me this, Sills, how come you change your opinion? Well, I changed my opinion because players change their performance, to good or bad. These guys here refuse to change their opinion, even in the light of a player playing better or worse. That's why. Who would you rather hear that from? Somebody going like this? Well, the player's playing better. You got to elevate him. Or a guy who's going to stick his foot in the mud or cement to try to prove a point just to keep a guy down because he made a preseason proclamation. Okay? It's fundamentally flawed thinking. I got Mahomes 3. They have 2 or 3, really. You actually think that Mahomes has had a better season when every number across the board is down and Tua's playing at a high level, that Mahomes has played better? Where do you see that? I had Tua 2. They got Josh Allen 3rd or 2nd. I got Josh Allen 6th, ranked behind Hurts. I got Purdy 1, and they have Patrick Mahomes 1. So when you guys come here and tell me that I'm talking shit on Jalen, no, I'm not. Do you trust the Phillies to beat the Braves? They got the pitching matchup tonight. They should take care of business. Okay? There's no question that Jalen Hurts. Look at the guys on this list here. How many guys were first rounders? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of the 10 are first rounders. One's a journeyman, and Geno Smith, and Purdy and Hurts are the other ones. And they're on the best teams because they're in the best organizations. It's perception, man. The league doesn't like promoting Jalen Hurts. National media people don't like his style. They think he's a gifted player. They think he's a winner. They say all the intangible things, but deep down, they don't believe he's going to win a Super Bowl ever. You know it, and I know it. Jalen Hurts is playing better than Josh Allen. He's playing better than Justin Herbert. And like you guys say, look through the numbers, right? Look through the numbers. Figuring shit out. Hey, man, you think the Chargers have a target on their chest? Why? You think the Eagles have a target on their chest? You bet your ass they do. You bet your ass they do. You bet they do. Okay? Dude, I think it's fuel for the team. And I've said this to you the last couple days. Look, 49ers are right here. Now, look, you guys played like that last year. So don't think they can't. But that's a lot to maintain. And I don't think, get this, that 49er team, and I know we got a lot of 49er fans in here. Thank you very much, Dream. Let me say this to you. What do you think the difference is between the 49ers this year compared to the Eagle team of a year ago? because they're going to have to try to keep that same level up there the entire 17 weeks. I don't think the 49ers are as deep as Philly was last year. You could lose Jordan Davis, and all of a sudden you put in Adama Sue and Linville Joseph. Dude, that is very capable replacements when you lose a dude. You had very capable replacements. You lose McCaffrey in the backfield, you got a good running back in that other kid. Not saying you don't. You start losing some components on defense. I do not think the 49ers have a lot of depth. Because you know why? They had to give up a king's ransom to get McCaffrey in to San Francisco. They're not as deep as that Eagle team a year ago. Maybe I'm just too grateful, but when it comes to Jalen, I'm so appreciative to what he has become. Let's not forget where he was a time when he wasn't even in the top 20 or 40. That was just 18 months ago. Now we debate if he's a top 5 guy. I respect the distance he's traveled. Could care less about those national bozos. How about this? I'll make a concession to you on Hurts. Is Hurts the most talented quarterback in the league? No. Is Hurts one of the top 5 game managers to win a game? Maybe top 3? Yes. Who would you rather be? Justin Herbert or Jalen Hurts? I want Justin Herbert to have Jalen Hurts' brain. I heard something today that made me really question Shedeur Sanders. And I think a lot of quarterbacks think this way. I couldn't believe what I heard. You know why he takes a lot of sacks at Colorado? Because he doesn't want to have a low incompletion percentage and a low quarterback rating. And I was like, what does that have to do with winning? So you want people to perceive you because you know people look at the numbers and not what you're doing on the field. I got a problem with that. Jalen Hurts, when there was a play in the game on Sunday. Maybe you guys remember it. Tone, it was late in the game. He ran to the right. He made sure he was outside the quarterback box. Threw it away. Sanders doesn't want to do that. And I think a lot of quarterbacks don't want to do that. Because the more throwaways you have, the more you have chances of having a low completion percentage and people perceive you as not being accurate. It's not that you're not accurate. You're smart. Okay? Last week, Sil said Jalen is a one-read quarterback. He's getting better at it. Just like Mahomes is getting better at it. Mahomes said when he came to Kansas City, he was a one-read quarterback, but not your guy, right? Jesus, criminy. Andy Reid has helped me read defenses that I never thought I could ever read. I'm paraphrasing what Mahomes said. So wait a minute. The greatest gifted quarterback in the game is still learning how to read defenses, but not your guy. Okay, sure. Your guy's a God's gift to having everything, and that's why he went in the first 5 picks. Sure, dude. Okay. Right. Mahomes is still learning. Michael Vick, who had been a sensational athlete, said he didn't know how to read defenses or prepare for a game until he got with Andy Reid. And he was already 8 years in, but not your guy. Right. Well, I'm going to make a proclamation about your guy, Jalen Hurts. Most of you probably won't agree with it. Not here to have you sit around here and agree with me or not agree with me. Here, I think this. If the Philadelphia Eagles are going to win a Super Bowl, Hurts has to run more. I think he has to stay around what he did this last week between 11 and 17 carries, and they will not be able to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. You're going to run into a few defenses that you might not want to run them as much, but you don't have a red zone back. You don't have a short yardage back. You don't really have anybody inside the 20 except him. That's more of a threat. Swift is not a threat. He's been taken out his entire career in the red zone. In Detroit, they had another guy up there just for that role. I think Jalen Hurts has to run more. And this is contradicting what I said 2 years ago. Because now, watching him not having that facet of his game, it hampers him. It totally hampers him. And if he's going to be a dual threat guy, let him be a dual threat guy. You can't change him. I don't want you to change him. Dick Vermeil's right. Dick Vermeil is right. He's right. Let him run more. Okay? Has to run more. When he was in that, actually, I would say, would we not probably, I think the entire 4 quarters, actually. I think Jalen Hurts, of all the players that played for the Eagles this past week against the Rams, I would make the contention that he played probably a 60-minute football game where I was really pleased with every single thing he did. The pick, I don't care. The Rams were not beating them, okay? And the Rams weren't beating them because they adjusted with Desai in the second half from what Desai did, okay? So, to me, I mean, I think Jalen played 60 minutes of football where you come out of that game going, yeah, I want to see that every week. This is what I want to see on getting this team going. I want to see Goddard. I want to see Swift in the pass game. I want to see Jalen in the run game. And you know what that does? That opens up Devontae, AJ, all of those guys back there, because the number one, hey, let me say this to you. Let me ask you this. Is Jalen Hurts more, are you afraid of Jalen Hurts more on 3rd and long in the passing game? Or are you afraid of Jalen Hurts more in 3rd and long in the run game? What do you fear more if you're a coordinator? What do you feel more of a concern if you're a coordinator? Hurts getting out in the perimeter, or Hurts throwing the ball down the field? I'll tell you this. And hey, I don't fear Jalen Hurts throwing the ball, but they will. I'm going to tell you what we used to say about Steve Young versus Joe Montana. Okay? Name goes, why would you want to change what's working 5-0? No, I want to go back to being what they did to get them to a Super Bowl a year ago. That's what I want. And that Ram game, Jalen did. That's what I want them to do. That was working. Okay? That's what was working. Again, Hurts on that getting open like that on 3rd and long, the way he runs. Jesus. Steve Young, we used to say this about him. Man, I sure hope that Montana's healthy. Because what made Steve Young such an incredible football player was that he ran 4.4s and he was 97. Like he was like his quarterback rating was like 98 or something when he retired. His accuracy was off the charts. Tone, his accuracy, if you look at his completion percentage, Young might have the highest percentage in completion percentage in NFL history. And he ran a 4.4. But when he got in the open, remember that run in the playoff game against Minnesota? Jason, he did. It cost him his career because, again, those kind of players that run the ball like that don't last long. It's totally true. And he played a long time because he backed up Montana for a decade. Okay? So, to me, he did take a lot of hits. He did. Yeah, but again, how many years did he start? How many years did Steve Young start in the National Football League compared to just being on a roster? Because he was on a roster and he was behind Montana. Steve Young, stats.
According to stats, Steve Young
threw for 33,000, not bad. But how many years did he play as a starting quarterback? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 years he started. Last year he got hurt and he had to retire. He had 7 years of starting out of 15 years. So he started only half the time that he played in the league. I'm not saying Montana wasn't better. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that to you. He was. Do you agree? He has to run the way he ran against he's got to play like that, like he played against the Rams. Correct? Now there's risk there. Because some are going to go, hey, Sills, there's more of a risk because he's on pace, like we were saying, for 187 carries, I think Tone and I looked at, and potentially we're looking at maybe if it keeps continuing to rise, it could be a 200 carry season. Okay? Like last year, Senior, he had I think he had 167 carries, and he missed those 4 games. If I'm not mistaken. What did he miss? 3 games? He missed those 3 games, and they didn't want him to run in the last game. So it was like 3 games, and if I'm not mistaken, maybe it was 2 games. But he had 167 carries a year ago. He was on pace for 200 carries. He was on pace for 200. Okay? Big Sills, our Lions are pretty stupid taking a running back instead of Carter, aren't they? Could you imagine Carter and Aiden Hutchinson on the same team? Well, a lot of people passed on them because of character issues that weren't there. They were made up. They were made up. Jalen Carter has not been anything but a model citizen. He's doing everything right. And you know why that is? There's Fletcher Cox around him. There's his former college coach around him. There's a winning culture around him. There's a lot of people that know, hey, when you're a Philadelphia Eagle, get this. When you're a Philadelphia Eagle, the expectations are different in Philly than in Dallas. You know why? It's got more to do with winning than being a TV star. And that's why people maybe have a little problem with some of the Jason Kelce stuff. I don't, because I think the guy is having a fun time in his life, especially with the fact that when you watch him go out and play and he's starting to pick his game back up again. Hey, I tell you this. You know what somebody told me? Brian Boldinger told me something. You know why he really is really great at that push tush or the brotherly shove? Is because he gets in a 4-point stance. People don't pick that up, that he's in a 4-point stance when he does that. Man, you're low when you're in a 4-point stance and you're a center. The hand quickness you have to get that football back, I'd be slapping at the ball. I'd try to pin his hand. That's what a lot of nose guards do. When you snap the ball, you know what you try to do? If you're quick enough in the hands, you try to pin that snap arm to his chest, and that's how you get around him or you bull rush him. His hands are quick. For him to be able to get that ball out of there like that and that brotherly shove, there's no question that that's a major part of that thing. Okay? 49ers. Stupid teams or franchises think you got to run or pass more. Winning franchises game plan their opponents to win in different ways. 49er. I said this to a couple people. I think it was Boomer Esiason and Phil Simms, and I said it to Simms yesterday. Certain offensive coordinators are trying to put up a lot of points and a lot of yards. Certain coordinators are trying to win ball games. There's a difference between the styles of how you prepare yourself and how you prepare your team. Okay? You mean, how many times do you look at a coordinator and this guy wants to put up a shitload of yards? I think that's Kellen Moore. I think that's Kellen Moore. I think he wants to put a ton of yards up and a ton of points up. And for whatever reason, they're not winning critical games. Okay? It's good. Got to fix the red zone, though. Run more. Have him run. Have him run. Most people are not going to agree with this because there's more chance of injury. Well, what are you going to do right now about your red zone offense when you start playing these better teams? You're not going to beat San Francisco kicking field goals. They're waiting for you. Here's the one thing I'll say about this 49er team. They're waiting for you. They think they have unfinished business. You're the heavyweight champion of the NFC. You hold the belt. What's tougher? Holding the belt or climbing the hill to get the belt? Do you have the same fire you had a year ago to hold that team off? I think you do. I'm not saying you don't. I think it's going to be an iconic matchup. And I pray everyone's healthy. I want to see this. Eagles, there's one thing, Camille, that I'll say to you, or Cam or whatever, and I'll say this to anybody. You could say a lot of things about the Eagles. Being soft is not one thing. There's nothing timid about the Eagles and the 49ers. That's appointment-setting television. And you know what you have when you tune on these television shows still? Do you know Jerry Jones came out today? You know what he said? We had a bad night against San Francisco. The Cowboy owner / general manager, Micah Parsons, saying that we're a playoff team as good as San Fran. The owner saying that we had a bad night. And where's the leadership? Every coach in his right mind. You know what I would have said if I heard that? I would have got to the podium and I would have looked around the room and said, who said that shit? Well, maybe he needs to get some game film on how he played. Sitting there talking about another opponent. It's Wednesday. We got Cleveland this week. What's he talking about? He got ran over last week. I thought we were going to have to get the ambulance for him, to have to take him to the emergency room because he had to figure out what the license plate was on that bus that ran him over. I was going to send the cops over so that they could see if he had any information, if he had the license plate of that bus that ran you over. I'm here to talk about Cleveland. That's soft. That's soft. Worrying about getting your ass kicked. I am all in on the Chargers winning this week. Do you think you would ever hear that from Jason Kelsey or Fletcher Cox, even Nick? If you got killed, you know what's great? I'm trying to figure out, have you been killed in a game since I've been talking about you guys? That's quite a streak too. Have you guys been killed in a game? The Cowboy game? The first year, the Cowboys killed you. The Cowboys killed you. They were non-competitive football games. They killed you 2 times. But the second one, you took your dudes out. So I don't know, maybe 1 time. Not since 2021 when the Cowboys smoked us and the Bucs in the playoffs. The Buccaneer game. That's right, Tone. The Buck game. It's Brady. Yeah, JM. The Buck game. The Bucks. They killed. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. So we're talking about 36 games. You got killed in 1? Jesus. How many times do you think you can go over in the last 36 games where the Cowboys were killed? 5? 6? Right? 5 or 6? Right? NFC, AFC title game, Super Bowl, all close. Hey. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, my God, LJ. Hey, ever since I've started talking about the Philadelphia Eagles, you've gone to a Super Bowl. I predicted you to go last year. I predicted you to go to the NFC title game this year. And you're 22-1 since the 2-5 start. You're welcome. Hey, Tone, you're welcome. I must be a good luck charm. Sills is the brotherly good luck charm. I'm your good luck charm. Say it with me. Yes, sir. I am your good luck charm. Thank you, LJ. No. Hey, Joseph, set this 2:30 tomorrow. We had a scheduling conflict a little bit, so he's coming on tomorrow at 2:30. So we will have him then to kick off the show. We had to reschedule him for tomorrow at 2:30. So we will have him tomorrow, and Seth apologized because kind of got time differences all mixed up here. So okay. Kayla Santiago unfortunately can't do the show today. She's in the ER due to severe case of the flu. Okay. And has not been discharged yet. She's willing to reschedule. All right. We'll figure that out after the program here. So all good. Not an issue. Just means more of you, unfortunately. Nice show with Seth. I love Seth Joyner. I totally love Seth Joyner. Okay? Totally love him, man. Absolutely. When I heard that, though, from Shedeur Sanders, that I didn't want to throw the ball away, I started thinking about other quarterbacks in the NFL that won't say that, but he said that because he doesn't want to have a lower quarterback percentage. Brian, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Listen, I think this game, again, until they can show us that they can really play well in the red zone, probably around a 26-16, something like that, somewhere in that conversation, that I still think it's going to be around that room there. So, Hey, by the way, our friend Tone, the segment, will be at 3:30 like always, so we will talk with him. We still have a ton of stuff to hit on here. Oh, by the way, there is going to be a lot of movement. The trading deadline is what? October 31? Am I right? October 31? Well, there's some names out there now that are being floated around that could potentially be on the move. And would Howie make a move for one of these guys? And get this, October 31 is that the Friday prior to the Sunday night game? Or is that Thursday? I think that's Thursday before you play the Cowboys. Right? I got this list from one of my dear friends who is a head football coach in the NFL, who has been on this program. I'm going to leave it at that, on names that are being floated around the National Football League. We're going to do that again, and we will do that. Yes, Eagles play the boys on November 5th. Okay. So I think that's a Thursday. You could make a move prior to that. All right, we're going to hit on these guys at the top of the hour here. Then we're going to talk to our friend Tone at 3:30. Hey, look, guys, do me a favor. Go into any one of the 7 locations nearest you when it comes to our friends at Hooters. The 40th anniversary, we're so proud to have them as the official sponsor of the National Football Show. I've known these gentlemen for over 40 years, and it's one of the greatest businesses in the country, let alone one of the greatest restaurants and environments. The iconic Hooter girls are there to serve you, and if you don't want to go into any one of the locations, northeasthooters.com, that's northeasthooters.com. Get the app, man, hooterstogo.com. Order off the app or go into the places and try some of our 40-year traditions. Buy 10 wings, get 10 boneless free. Wing Wednesdays, 1983, the year the place was founded. Happy hours, 6 items, $6, fried pickles, northeasthooters.com. That's northeasthooters.com. And when you go into any one of the locations, do me a favor, tell them Big Sil sent you.
Football and Hooters, the perfect pair.